when shall we three meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
Where the place?
Upon the heath,
There to meet with Macbeth.
Fair is foul and foul is fair, hovering through the fog and filthy air.
Doubtful it stood, as two swimmers that do cling together and choke their art. The merciless MacDonald, worthy to be a rebel, for to that the multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon him. From the western isles of kerns and gallow glasses is supplied, and fortune, on his damned quarrel smiling, showed like a rebel's war. But all's too weak for brave Macbeth. Well, he deserves that name, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution. Like Valor's minion, carved out his passage till he faced a slave, which ne'er shook hands nor bade farewell to him, till he unseamed him from the nave to the chops, and fixed his head upon our battlements. Yes, as sparrows eagles, or the hare the lion. If I say soothed, I must report they were as cannons overcharged with double cracks. So they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe, except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds, or memorize another Golgotha. I cannot tell, but I am faint. My gashes cry for help.
What bloody man is that? He can report and seemeth by his plight of the revolt the new estate.
This is the surgeon, who like a good and hardy soldier fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend, say to the king the knowledge of the broil, as thou didst live it.
O valiant cousin, worthy gentleman.
As whence the sun gins his reflection, shipwreck in storms and direful thunders. So from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, this comfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark, no sooner just as had, with valor armed, compelled these skipping kerms to trust their heels. But the Norwegian lord, surveying vantage with furbished arms and new supplies of men, began a fresh assault.
Dismay this not our captains, Macbeth and Banquo.
But I am faint, my gashes cry for help.
So well thy words become as thy wounds, they smack of honor both. Go get him surgeons. Who comes here?
What a haze look to his eyes. It looks like he seems to speak things strange.
God save the king.
Whence camest thou, worthy thane?
From Five, great king, where the Norwegian banners float the sky, and fan our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict, till that Bellona's bridegroom, lapped in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons, point against point, rebellious arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit, and to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Great happiness.
That now, Sweno, the Norway's king craves composition, nor would we date him burial of his men, till he disbursed at St. Colon's Inch $10,000 to our general use.
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interests. Go pronounce his present death, and with his former title greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath gained.
Where hast thou been, sister?
Killing swine.
Sister, where thou? A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched, and munched, and munched. Give me, quoth I, around thee which the rum-fed Runyon cries. Her husband's to Aleppo gone, master of the tiger, but in a sieve I'll thither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, and I'll do.
I'll give thee a wind.
Thou'rt kind,
And I another.
I myself have all the other. and the very ports they blow, all the quarters that they know. I, the shipman's card, I'll drain him as dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. He shall live, a man forbid. Where receive mites 9 times 9 shall be dwindle, peak and pine. Though his bark cannot be lost, yet it shall be tossed. Look what I have.
Show me. Show me.
Here, I have a pilot's thumb, racked as homeward he did come.
I drum, Macbeth doth come.
The weird sisters hand in hand, posters of the sea and land. Thus to go about, and thrice the time and thrice the might. Thus again to make up night, bids and charms wound up.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen.
How far is it called to for us? What are these, so withered and so wild in their attire, that not look like they are the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on it? Live you, or are you that I should question? You seem to understand me, by each one at her choppy fingers laying upon her skinny lips. You should be woman, and yet your beards forbid me to make that interpretation, that you are so.
Speak, if you can. What are you?
All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Glamis.
All hail Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor!
All hail Macbeth, that shall be king hereafter.
Sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that sound so fair? In the name of truth, are you fantastical, or that indeed with outwardly you show? My noble partner, you greet that present grace and great prediction of noble having and royal hope, that he seems wrapped withal. To me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate.
Hail!
Hail!
Hail! Lesser than Macbeth, and greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo Macbeth, all hail!
Stay, you imperfect speakers. Tell me more. By Sinel's death I know I am Thane of Glamis, but how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief. No more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Speak, I charge you.
Earth has bubbles, as the water has, and these are of them. Where did they vanish?
Into the air, and what seemed corporeal melted, as breath into the wind. Would they have stayed?
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten the insane root that takes reason prisoner?
Your children shall be kings,
You shall be king.
and Thane of Cawdor too. Went it not so?
To thee self-same tune and words. Who's here?
The king hath happily received Macbeth, the news of thy success, and when he reads thy personal adventure in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do content, which should be thine or his, silenced with that, in viewing o'er the rest of the self-same day, he finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make. Strange images of death, as thick as tale, came post with post, and everyone did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defense, and poured them down before him.
We are sent to give thee from our old master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee.
And for an earnest of a greater honor, he bade me, from him, call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What? Can the devil speak the truth?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. Whether he was combined with those of Norway, or declined the rebel with hidden health and vantage, or that with both he labored in his country's wrath, I know not, but present capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown him.
Glamis, and now Thane of Cawdor. The greatest is behind. Thank you for your pains. Do you not hope your children will be kings, as was promised to them by those who gave Thane of Cawdor to me?
That trusted home might yet enkindle you unto the crown. Besides, the Thane of Cawdor. But it is strange, and oftentimes to win us to our harm, The instruments of darkness tell us truths. Win us with honest trifles, to betray us in deepest consequence. Cousins, a word I pray you.
Two truths are told as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen. Farewell. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success, commencing in the truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion, whose horrid image doth unfix my hair, and make my seated heart knock at my ribs, against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man, that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is what it is not.
Look how our partner is wrapped.
Okay. If chance will have me king, why, chance may crown me without my stir.
New honors come upon him, like our strange garments. Cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of use.
Time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Give me your favor. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn, the leaf to read them. Let us toward the king. Think upon what hath happened. And at more time, the interim have waited. Let us speak of our hour again.
Very gladly.
Till then, enough. Come, friend.
Is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in my commission yet returned?
My liege, they are not yet come back, but I have spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his trespass, implored your highness's pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving it. He died as one that had been studied in his death to throw away the dearest thing he owed, as it were a careless trifle.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. O worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude even now was heavy on me. Thou art so far before the swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Would thou hast less deserved, that the proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due than thy can pay.
The service and the loyalty I owe in doing it pays itself. Your highness' part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne and state children and servants, which do but what they should by doing everything safe towards your love and honor.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee in with labor to make thee full of growing, noble Banquo, that hast no less deserved nor must be known, no less have done so. Let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart.
There, if I grow, the harvest is your own.
My plenteous joy. Whaten in fullness seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen, thanes, and you those places are the nearest know. We will establish our estate upon. Our eldest Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland, which honor must not uncompanioned invest him only. But sighs of nobleness like stars shall shine on all deserves, from hence to Inverness, and blind us further to you.
The rest is labor which is not used for you. I'll be myself the harbinger, and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach. So humbly, I take my leave.
My worthy Cawdor.
Prince of Cumberland? That is a step on which I must fall down, or else o'erleap. Far in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye wink at the hand, yet let that be which the eye fears. When it is done, to see.
To worthy Banquo, he is full so valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. This banquet to me Let's after him those care is gone before to bid us welcome. It is a peerless kingsman.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. While I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me, and referred to me the coming on of time with Hail King that shalt be. This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell.
Glamis thou art on Cawdor, and shall be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature, you're too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou art powerful and ambitious, but without the illness should attend it. What thou would highly thou hollily would not pay false, and yet would wrongly win. Thou would have great Glamis, that which cries, thus thou must do, if you have it, and that which rather thou dost fear to do, than wishes should be undone. Hide thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and persuade you with the valor of my tongue. After all, fate and metaphysical aid both seem to want you to be king.
What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
You must be crazy to say that. Is not thy master with him? He would have informed for preparation.
So please you, it is true, our Thane is coming. Well, my fellows had the speed of him who, almost dead for breath, had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Give him tending. He brings great news.
The raven himself is horse that crocks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here and fill me from the crown to the toe top full of extreme cruelty, and make my blood thick. Stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no regretful visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between its effect. Come to my woman's breasts and turn my milk to gall, you murdering demons, wherever in your sightless substance you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, uncover everything in the darkest smoke of hell, so that neither my sharp knife see the wound it makes, nor heaven can peep through the blanket of the dark and cry, stop, stop. Great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all hail hereafter. Thy letter hath transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
My love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when is he leaving?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall the sun see that morning, my love Thane. Your face is a book where men may read strange matters. You have to deceive them and welcome the king with your hand on your tongue just like an innocent flower, but be a snake under it. He's coming soon and needs to be taken good care of. I'll prepare everything for this night, because what will happen tonight will change the rest of our lives.
We will speak further.
You should only look up clear to alter favors to ever to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
This castle hath a pleasant scent. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
This temple-haunting martlet, the guest of summer, does approve. No jutty free as buttress, nor coin of vantage. This bird has made his pendant bed and procreant cradle. And as you observe, the air is delicate.
See, our honored hostess, the love that follows us is sometimes our trouble, which still we thank as love. Herein I teach you, how shall you bid God ild us for our pains and thank us for our trouble.
service in every point, twice done and then double. We're poor and single business to contend against those honors deep and broad wherewith. Your Majesty loads our house for those of old and delayed dignities heaped up to them. We rest your hermits.
Where is the Thane of Cawdor? We cursed him at his heels and had the purpose to be his purveyor, but he rides well, and his great love, sharp as his spur, hath helped him. To his home before us, fair noble hostess, we are your guests tonight.
Your servants ever have theirs themselves and what is theirs and come, to make their audit at your highness' pleasure, still to return your own.
Give me your hand. Conduct me to mine host. We love him highly, and shall continue to our graces towards him. By your leave, hostess.
If it were done when 'tis done, then twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence, and catch with its surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and end-all here. But here, upon this bank and shoal of time, we jump the life to come. But in these cases, we still have judgment here, that we but teach bloody instructions, which, being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredient of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He is here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed. Then, as his host, who should against his murder and shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels, trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off, and pity, like a naked newborn babe striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which overleaps itself and falls on the other. How now? What news?
He has almost finished dinner. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Do you not know he has?
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me as of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which should be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope junk wherein you dress yourself? Has it slept since? And wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it is so freely? From this time, such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valor, as thou art in desire? Wouldst you have that which you seem the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem? Letting I dare not, wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the old story.
Prithee, peace. I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was it then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man, and to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Nor time, nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They've made themselves, and their fitness now doesn't make you. I've given suck, and know how tender it is to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have done to this.
But if we should fail?
We fail, but screw your courage to the sticking place, and we'll not fail. When Duncan is asleep, where to the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him. His 2 chamberlains will I with wine and wassail convince that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limbic only. When in swinish sleep their drenched nature lies in a death, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the
Bring
guilt?
forth men, children only, for thy undaunted metal should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked the with blood those sleepy two of his own chamber, and use their very daggers that they have done it?
Who dares receive the other, as we shall make our griefs and clamor roar upon his death?
I'm settled, and bend up each corporeal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False-faced must hide what the false heart doth know.
The eerie music adds a creepy tone and makes audience feel unsettled. The dark lighting and the fact that the setting is not visible show that the witches are not of this world, and the lightning shows their supernatural elements.
The orange filter shows that the flashback is taking place in a different time period, and it adds a feel of greatness to Macbeth and makes him seem more heroic. The music is also very loud and inspirational. This makes the fight more intense and reinforces Macbeth's heroism and greatness. The intense lighting, when Duncan is on stage, shows his sovereignty. The entrance of Ross and Angus is announced by trumpets to reinforce Duncan's sovereignty and show that they are high-ranking.
The thunder and lightning, as well as the darker filter, shows the supernatural powers of the witches, as well as the way they make any scene darker in tone. This creates a link to the first scene. When Banquo and Macbeth enter, the music gets less eerie to show they are heroic and good. After the witches disappear, the music gets suspenseful to create tension in the audience and to reinforce their confusion. The trumpets, when Ross and Angus enter, calls back to scene 2 and shows they are emissaries from the king. When Macbeth is aside, there is suspenseful music showing his internal struggle and creating tension in the audience as they wonder what Macbeth will decide. The light also focuses on him to draw the audience's attention. It is the same for when Macbeth and Banquo are aside.
When Macbeth, Banquo, Ross, and Angus enter, they are heralded by trumpets. This shows they are being congratulated and viewed as heroes. When Macbeth is aside, the music is suspenseful, calling back to scene 3 and provoking the same feeling of tension in the audience. This reinforces the motif of internal conflict. When Duncan is praising them, there is inspirational music, which is showing a happy tone.
The filter in the music in the beginning of the scene helps emphasize the thought process of Lady Macbeth as her character builds up. When she starts talking, a red filter is applied and dark and intense music could be heard, which portrays her inner evilness as Macbeth gets manipulated by her. The red filter also shows the beginning of Macbeth's fall from grace as he's contemplating of planning his first truly evil act.
There is simple and light music at the beginning of this scene to reflect a peaceful tone and natural setting. This allows for a reprieve from the action and drama, a calm before the storm. When Lady Macbeth appears, there is intense music and a red filter, which dies down when she converses with Duncan. This shows that she is hiding her true nature, so none of the other characters can see it. The filter then builds in intensity when they are entering the castle in order to foreshadow the terrible acts that will occur in that building.
During Macbeth's opening soliloquy, the light draws the audience's attention to him. There's also a red filter to show his descent into evil. And there's also suspenseful music to emphasize his thought and to make the audience focus on his thinking. When Lady Macbeth enters, the music intensifies as an introduction to her evil nature. The music continues to intensify over time, adding to the tension in the audience and adding to the dramatic effect. The shots of Macbeth alternate from red to no filter to show his internal conflict and to continue this motif throughout the rest of the scene. When Lady Macbeth is speaking, the filter remains red throughout to show that she is negatively influencing Macbeth. And over time, this filter begins to get darker and more vibrant in the red color. And Macbeth's also becomes more vibrant and red. And in the last clip, It is the most vibrant and most read to emphasize the most evil and their attempts to hide it.